In 68 seconds, 12 hard drives containing evidence from Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan residence would vanish from official FBI custody without explanation. The cameras were already rolling. The Senate Judiciary hearing room was quiet, not empty, just waiting. Josh Hawley sat 4 seats from the chairman. No folder open yet, no notes visible. FBI Director Kash Patel adjusted his microphone, reached for his water glass, set it back down without drinking. His posture was controlled. Hands flat on the witness table, expression calibrated for routine oversight questioning. This was supposed to be a standard session: budget concerns, field office staffing, counterterrorism priorities. The gallery held maybe 50 people, staffers checking phones, reporters with laptops half open. The overhead lights created a glare on the mahogany surface that made documents appear almost white when placed flat. A court reporter sat in the corner, fingers positioned over the stenograph keys, ready but motionless. The room smelled faintly of old wood and recycled air. Hawley's turn came at 3:12 p.m. He didn't ease into it. Director Patel, where are the 12 hard drives seized from Jeffrey Epstein's residence on July 8, 2019? The question landed without preamble. No context, no build-up, no softening language. Patel's eyes moved to Hawley, then to his counsel seated behind him. His face showed nothing, but his right hand shifted half an inch toward the microphone. The movement was subtle, but the cameras caught it. I'd have to review the evidence logs to provide specific location information. Hawley didn't pause. You've had 5 years to review. I'm asking you now. Where are they? Patel's jaw tightened slightly. The muscle near his temple flexed once. A reporter in the second row stopped typing. Certain digital evidence from that case was transferred to secure storage facilities per standard protocol. That's not an answer to my question. Hawley's voice stayed level, surgical. I didn't ask about protocol. I asked where they are. Silence stretched for 6 seconds. Patel's hands remained flat on the table, but his fingers spread slightly, pressing into the wood. His breathing pattern stayed even, but his shoulders drew back half an inch. The water glass sat untouched. Condensation had begun to form on the outside, small droplets sliding down the curved surface. I'd need to consult with evidence management to confirm current status. Hawley leaned forward, not aggressively, just present. His elbows rested on the desk. Director, I sent 2 members of my staff to SCF-7 at FBI headquarters last Tuesday. That's the classified intelligence facility where these hard drives were supposedly stored. Do you know what they found? Patel's breathing changed, shallower, more controlled. His eyes didn't blink for 7 seconds. His counsel shifted slightly in the seat behind him. I'm not at liberty to discuss the contents of secure compartmented facilities in an open setting. I'm not asking about content. I'm asking about location. My staff was told the hard drives weren't there. Hawley pulled a single sheet of paper from under his notepad. He didn't hold it up yet. The paper was crisp, recently printed. This is a signed statement from the SCF-7 security officer dated last Thursday. It confirms that no digital media matching the case file designation EC2900847 is currently stored in that facility. He set the page down face up. The document projected the screen behind Patel before he could turn his head. The letterhead showed FBI seal, official timestamp, classification markings in the top right corner. The security officer's signature was visible at the bottom, dark ink against white paper. So I'll ask again, where are the 12 hard drives? Patel reached for his water glass this time, lifted it, drank slowly, set it down carefully. The condensation left a ring on the table surface. His throat moved as he swallowed. Materials are sometimes relocated for operational security reasons. To where? I'd have to verify the transfer documentation. You don't know where evidence in the most high-profile criminal case in a decade is currently located. Senator, the FBI maintains multiple secure facilities across the country. Without reviewing specific records, I can't provide exact. You're the director of the FBI. You should know. Silence again. Longer this time. 10 seconds. 12. 14. 16. Hawley didn't move. His expression didn't change. The gallery was completely still, phones down, laptops closed. Someone in the back row shifted in their seat. The sound of fabric against leather echoed off the marble walls. A staffer near the door stopped mid-step, froze in place. Patel's counsel leaned in to whisper, His mouth moved close to Patel's ear. His hand gestured slightly toward the folder on the table. Patel's hand came up in a subtle stop gesture. His lawyer sat back. The AP reporter in the third row leaned so far forward his press credentials swung away from his chest. Hawley continued without waiting for an answer. Let's talk about how those hard drives got to CF7 in the first place. He pulled another document, this one thicker, multiple pages stapled together. The top page showed a chain of custody form, official FBI letterhead. On August 15, 2019, 5 days after Epstein's death, 12 of the 16 hard drives seized from his residence were transferred from the New York field office to FBI headquarters. The transfer was signed off by Assistant Special Agent in Charge Michael Foster. Do you dispute that timeline? I don't have the transfer records in front of me. I'm not asking you to review them. I'm asking if you dispute it. Patel's eyes didn't leave Hawley's face. His expression remained neutral, but his jaw muscles flexed slightly. The overhead lights caught the movement. His breathing stayed controlled. If the records show that timeline, I have no reason to dispute it. Hawley turned to paper. The sound of paper against paper was audible in the silent room. 7 days later, on August 22nd, those same 12 hard drives were transferred again, this time to CF7. But here's what's interesting. He tapped the document once. His finger landed on a specific line of text. That second transfer was authorized under Executive Order 4. That's the order governing classification of national security information. Director Patel, why would criminal evidence from a closed sex trafficking case be reclassified as national security material? Certain evidence may contain information that touches on intelligence, equities, or sensitive foreign national identities. What intelligence equities? I can't discuss classified information in an open setting without Epstein was a financier and a criminal. He wasn't a foreign agent. What intelligence equities require you to hide evidence from congressional oversight? Patel's hands shifted, fingers interlacing. His knuckles pressed white for a moment, then relaxed. The veins on the back of his hands became visible. I'm not hiding anything, Senator. The evidence was secured according to applicable regulations and legal frameworks. Hawley pulled another sheet from his stack. This is an email from FBI Deputy Director Abate to the Evidence Control Unit, dated August 21, 2019. 1 day before those hard drives were moved to C, he held it at chest level. The projection screen filled with the email header. The subject line appeared in bold text against the white background. The timestamp read 4:47 p. Subject line reads, EC 2900847 Media Transfer Authorization. The email contains one sentence. Approve immediate transfer of all digital media to CF7 under Executive Order 11352-6, Classification Authority. Hawley set the page down. The email sat there on the table between them, visible to every camera in the room. The text was large enough to read from the gallery. Executive Order 11352-6 has nothing to do with criminal evidence preservation. It's designed to protect intelligence operations, not to lock away hard drives from a dead sex offender. So why was it used? That decision would have been made by senior leadership at the time, based on the nature of the materials, and I'm not asking about the nature of anything. I'm asking why a criminal evidence reclassification protocol designed for intelligence was applied to Epstein's hard drives. No answer, just breathing. The air circulation system cycled on. A low hum filled the silence. Patel's eyes moved to the document on the table, then back to Hawley. His hands remained interlaced. Hawley opened a thin folder he hadn't touched yet. The folder was blue, Senate Judiciary Committee seal, visible on the cover. The edges were worn, pages dog-eared. Director Patel, do you remember testifying before this committee on January 19th of this year? Yeah. Do you remember what you said when Senator Grassley asked if any evidence from the Epstein investigation was missing or inaccessible? Patel's posture stiffened. His spine straightened against the chair. His hands, unlaced, rested flat on the table again. I'd have to review the transcript to provide exact wording. I have it right here. Hawley held up a bound document. The cover showed the Senate seal, official transcript markings, date printed at the top in small font. The document was thick, maybe 200 pages, page 47, line 12. Senator Grassley asks, quote, has any evidence been lost, destroyed, or rendered inaccessible. You responded, and I'm reading your exact words. No, Senator. All evidence remains in FBI custody and is accessible per standard retrieval protocols. Hawley looked up, his eyes locked on Patel. The room went silent. Were you lying then, or are you lying now? Patel's counsel shifted in his seat. The leather creaked. His hand moved toward Patel's shoulder. My client answered based on the information available to him at that time, and I believe Director Patel can answer for himself. Hawley's voice cut clean, sharp. Were you lying in January, or are you lying today? Silence. Complete silence. 15 seconds passed. 18. 20. Patel's jaw clenched. His eyes stayed fixed on Hawley. His breathing was shallow now, visible chest movement. The gallery didn't move. Not a phone buzzed. Not a laptop closed. I stand by my testimony. Hawley pulled one final document from the bottom of his stack. The page was slightly larger than the others. This is a text message exchange between FBI Assistant Director Walter Green and Deputy Director Epstein, dated August 20. He held it so the projection screen behind Patel filled with the image. The text was visible in gray message bubbles against a white background. Phone interface clearly visible. Contact name at the top read, Abedi reads, Hawley office requesting Epstein files under Congressional Oversight Authority. Delay response until after reclassification complete. The second message, sent 3 minutes later at 9:50 p.m., reads, confirmed. All media transferred to SCF by Friday. No exceptions. Hawley set the page down slowly. The paper settled on the table without sound. You didn't just reclassify evidence to avoid oversight. You specifically delayed response to my office while that reclassification was being completed. That's not hiding evidence generally. That's hiding it from me. Patel's breathing was shallow now, chest rising and falling in quick controlled movements. His face remained neutral, but something behind his eyes shifted. A calculation happening in real time. Senator, I wasn't director at that time. I can't speak to decisions made before my tenure as bureau leadership. You weren't director then, but you testified in January that all evidence was accessible. If it's in CF7 and my staff can't access it, and you can't tell me where it actually is, then your testimony was false. Patel's hands pressed harder against the table. His fingertips went white from the pressure. The wood grain pressed into his skin. Classification decisions made by previous leadership don't retroactively make my testimony inaccurate or misleading. Hawley leaned back in his chair. His tone dropped, quieter but sharper. Director, 12 hard drives seized from a convicted sex offender's home are missing. 73 witness interview records have been classified as top secret without justification. An internal FBI email proves your bureau deliberately delayed congressional access, and you're telling this committee that everything is fine. Patel didn't respond. The room held its breath. Every camera stayed locked on his face. His expression remained neutral, but something behind his eyes shifted. A decision being made. The committee chairman shifted in his seat, but didn't interrupt. His gavel rested on the desk, untouched. Hawley picked up his pen, wrote something on a notepad. Set the pen down. The click of pen against wood was audible. I'm issuing a subpoena for all internal communications related to the transfer, classification, and current location of evidence in case file EC-29. Additionally, I'm requesting that the Department of Justice Inspector General open an immediate investigation into evidence handling procedures under your leadership. Patel's phone buzzed in his jacket pocket. Once, then again. The vibration was faint but visible in the silence. His jacket moved slightly. He didn't reach for it. Hawley gathered his papers without rushing, each page stacked precisely on top of the last. The sound of paper sliding against paper filled the quiet. This hearing will reconvene in 2 weeks. At that time, you will provide a complete accounting of where those 12 hard drives are, who authorized their reclassification, and why my office was specifically targeted for delay. He stood. His chair scraped slightly against the floor. If you can't do that, we'll have a very different conversation about whether you're fit to lead the FBI. The gavel fell, one sharp crack that echoed through the chamber. Patel sat motionless at the table, hands still flat, microphone still live. He didn't stand, didn't gather his folder, didn't look at his counsel, didn't acknowledge the emptying gallery, just sat there in the light, in the silence. As the room began to clear around him, His water glass sat untouched now. The condensation ring on the table had already begun to evaporate. His counsel stood behind him, but didn't move to leave. The cameras stayed on. The 12 hard drives were still missing. The 73 witness statements were still sealed. And 68 seconds of questioning had just made that impossible to ignore.